Hello everybody, this is Genjeff back with more Steel Division. And remember that aggressiveness that I mentioned before? This is a good example of the basically being able to recognize a situation as it is when it was and what you should have done. Again, well, there's a lot of things from this that you'll see with this battle. And let's actually get out of the deployment phase. It's another 10v10. I'm playing with, who's to my right? Because I'm on the far left over here. I basically take this entire area as mine. Yeah, this guy, Knight, is he to my right? Because he doesn't end up being there. I'm not sure who's there then, because I don't remember him. So there's Tufel and Meeseeks. And to be honest, this is a larger force than I expected to see. Considering how, yeah, you'll see. Ooh, napalm bomber. That's how you do it. Because it forces everybody to unload as they're driving through the fire. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because the game mechanic works in such a way that if an unarmed transport gets hurt, it automatically dumps everything. And it dumps everything right into the fire. And then you tell them to fall back, so they fall back through the fire. Oh... Was that Stannis surrendering? Yep, that's Stannis surrendering. He's gone. And he left. And he just marks it going, yep, I'm done, and disappears. Allied side did not defend center of the map very well. And frankly, the right's not doing particularly well right now either. When I get into position, my intention was to defend the road along here. Okay, so Knight is there. I was just kind of confused as to where he was. My intention was to defend this road. And I got some stuff in the rear as kind of reserves. Stannis gets in there, wipes out that, does very well against that guy. And it doesn't go well for him. Is that my bomber? I believe that is my bomber. Yes, it is. I thought there was stuff in these woods, so I napalm it and start moving my scouts up and my infantry. But turns out there's nothing in there. Because I'm using the way the map gets pushed. And since there's a little bulge here, I figured there was stuff in these woods. So I napalmed it. I was wrong. Oh well. We have this little bulge here because there's nothing here, and there's a nice big road that they could have used to go down. But Stannis has left. Left his team there to fight alone. Hooray for getting people to quit in the beginning. Now this entire area is still wide open to a very large degree, and this guy didn't move up very far because he wanted to use this little farm, the villa, as a defensive position. And I've got my guys moving forward because I'm not exactly encountering a lot of resistance. So it's just like, okay, I'll go forward. In fact, I encounter practically no resistance. He just deployed nothing but tanks, and they're all like command tanks. Look at all those command tanks, and there's 2 stars. All of them. Now this is... It's far better to get units that have stars than to get units that have no stars. The experience really makes up for the lack of units. And 2 of them are falling back now. But I've got stuff moving up. The machine gunners, my scouts, my AB leader. I've got a mortar coming in now. This guy's having a bit of a hard time. And there's a giant hole in the defenses. But I'm finding the entire defense in front of me, I'm starting to find it completely underwhelming. And so I start moving up. I've got the mortar here, I've got the infantry moving up. The biggest threat's the MG-42, that'll be taken care of shortly. This guy's just caught in a crossfire, the poor bugger. And here come my own tanks. Kind of ignoring my own advice on the stars. Go figure. But you can't really get that much in the way of starred tetrarchs. So the mortar's causing damage, but the machine gun's causing damage, but I've got a mortar here, so whatever. Pin down the scouts. The infantry unit's dead. My mortars are falling back. I've pinned down the machine gun, so he's not firing as much. But they're also firing their own mortars in response. And this guy is spawning in and moving in this direction. You see how useful these two starred units are. If these were unskilled units, they probably would have been dead by now after engaging that anti-tank gun. Where'd it go? Oh, but they'd probably be dead by now. But they're not, and they did a good job blasting through it. He's actually now attacking this pocket in the flank. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on over here. It's a good flanking move there. They're immediately falling back. That guy's probably going to be falling back pretty soon, too. But that got their scout, and he's falling back now. He's got... in a very short time with this one little scout that he moved around the woods, he killed their scout, their recon, and forced the half-tracks to pull back. Right here, why is everything falling back for night? Could be that 50 mil. But I'm advancing. Took out the stuff in the tree line, because there just isn't all that much fighting. And I start advancing, rushing my tetrarchs forward. He drops his bombs in, misses, drops more bombs, and that was a completely underwhelming Stuka dive bombing attack. So I've got my guys advancing as fast as possible. I should not have the command unit up in front, but he is. That guy surrenders, and these guys unload in front of my tanks. So they get destroyed. As I'm just pushing real hard because this resistance is completely underwhelming to me. I rush my tanks forward to try to get to the mortars. Because my infantry, these guys are all pinned in their Ostrup, and I can see that they're disheartened, that they're not going to be very effective. So I just move forward to take out the mortars. Because there's a giant, because I can. There's nothing to stop me, so I push forward. In fact, there's no anti-tank capability here whatsoever. My napalm bomber. That finishes those off. These are now pinned. I've got these guys firing, the captured pack 40, wiping out the grenadiers and the Ostrup. Trying to make up ground because my team is losing. This guy's holding on to his defenses pretty well. What's his name? Pertium. He's doing pretty good, all things considered. I decided to try to get all these guys to surrender by just running up to them. They're pinned now. Poof, surrender, surrender. And with that, there is nothing in front of me. Nothing at all. And my allies to the side, to my right, Knight, is just chewing through the enemy with his 2-star command units. Wow. I still make mistakes in this game. I make a load of mistakes. But yeah. So the opposing side has also realized that there's no defenses. And he's advanced their Firefly and a couple of armored cars almost all the way to the rear of our map, as I'm advancing all the way to the rear of their side. Now I know this thing is here. I thought it was a half-track. I did not realize it was a recon unit. So I advanced this Piet unit to go take care of the half-track, only to find a recon. And I immediately order them back. And I end up sending up the machine gun and I think an infantry unit. But my guys are advancing forward with the objective of cutting off this reinforcement point and this reinforcement point, so they can't use it. Managed to get 49-51 of the map. But there's still nobody in the center, and that isn't very good for us. This is a brilliantly good game, by the way. But all. So, Mishka Forever, that's got a nice tune to it. But yeah, he realizes that the allied position in front of him is very weak, so he moved all the way to the rear of the map. Just as I realized that the Axis position in front of me was very weak, so I moved all the way to the rear of the map. And there's my little machine gun to take care of the Fusilier unit. But this has given me this entire chunk. Well, my team this entire chunk, because there's Knight, and... You know, blue is really bad if you want to see the names for people. I'm trying to figure out what the frick the name of this guy is. Kamzar. He's Kamzar. There we go. Kamzar. We managed to get really deep onto the enemy side of the map. And then there's this annoying gap thing. So I start rushing forward infantry with the intention of putting troops into these villages. Just to hold it. And I've got all my infantry advancing on foot across the map. Or many of them. And I've got my PaK 75 moving forward as well. And my mortar's helping to take out that guy now. I figure maybe I'll just send my guys up and make them surrender too, like everybody else did. Devastation. I like how the PaK 40 still has its crew, even though it's dead. They're still at their gun positions. Meanwhile, everything else looks blown up like it should be. But they're just sitting there going, yeah, we're here. We're dead. Pinning those guys back down again. Some people are trying to push some of this back. Oh, look, the Firefly's dead. That's nice. And we're trying to retake this city, but they've got a lot of stuff there now. Yes, learning. I'm learning a lot from this. My later operation turned out to be a basically complete waste of time. Oh well. Fighting over here is going pretty well too, all things considered. No one's making a move to go here, though. And this guy could have pushed far forward of where he did, but he didn't. Here we go. I used, not entirely intentionally, I didn't realize that it was a recon there. I thought it was some infantry. So I unloaded these Polsteins here to shoot that up. So it runs away. But all these guys are forced to unload as they're driving through fire, so hooray. It works two ways. I've blocked off these reinforcement points, so they can't reinforce in this area anymore. I've got some infantry that are going to be moving into this little village here. And my guys are no longer stunned, so I use the Holstons, which really don't have enough ammunition. 300 rounds, that's it. But I use those to kill the recon unit, which gives us this salient that's there. And Knight's, Knight doesn't have as many of his Scots left anymore. Yep, they're all dead. Killed by Panzer IIIs and a Tiger, because they were going to face a Tiger very well. But this guy is now fighting in here, as he's coming under pretty intense pressure. And I'm building up another force here to do my usual trick again. Knight's moving his stuff over in this direction. And this guy's bringing up more reinforcements. Comms are. Is this where I start assembling over here too? Yep, it is. I come here and have a staging position here with the intention of trying to advance up through the town, because I figured this was rather lightly held. Yeah, and, hindsight 2020, I was wrong. Very, very wrong. Oh! It blew up! I wondered where that guy went. Why did he just blow up? I guess he was still on fire. So that took out that Tiger. Knight's starting to move up some more armor, and he's moving his infantry up in this direction. I'm trying to assemble these guys up. And this is where I have a problem, is I'm trying to run an operation over here and an operation over here simultaneously. And I've got stuff deploying. These are my artillery over here. My AOP 203mm artillery things. I've got 2 of them. And I've got my a couple Tetrarchs there as I continue to assemble here. Which turns out to be... I don't think it's in view of them yet. Star. Star, 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 star. Star down. Do you see that yet? No, they don't see it yet. But they will. They will. And my charge up this area has begun. They're on the wrong road. I didn't realize that they'd be on this road, which is where I wanted them. Oh, I could have killed those mortars too. Drat. Yeah, this is where I order a bunch of them. Go to the other freaking road, you idiots! And my objective was to cut this reinforcement point off as well. So I could starve these guys of reinforcements, so they'd have to reinforce over there, which would hamper their ability to hold this area of the map. So I've got my guys advancing. Is this where Star sees it? Yeah, Star now sees this. Giant assembly. And I'm too busy over here trying to micromanage all these guys into position to cut off the reinforcements. So I've got them there. And it turns out my plan didn't really work so well. Yeah, my poor command carrier. He's dead. And the bomber has not arrived yet. Because I'm too busy, so I'm leaving that stuff there. This... in the beginning of this entire operation was a huge mistake. This turns out to be much more heavily defended than I anticipated, and those forces could have been much better used over here, with that artillery and everything, far better used over there. So, I'm probably not going to be launching cross-map operations like that ever again. Oh look, here come the F-190s. Because they see this. And I see that they see this. But it's too late. Bombs away. And everyone dies. Just about. That was devastating. And all infantry that, instead of being over there, should have been over here. In fact, I actually do manage to achieve my objective, because they can't deploy from here anymore. So they're sending troops from over there to clean me out of the village. And if I had all this infantry over here, I could have probably held it. But I didn't. If I had those Tetrarchs that were over there, over here, again, I would have been a lot better off. So, short term, I do achieve my objective. I do prevent them from reinforcing this area from here. And they have an awkward reinforcement route if they want to get troops into here. But this guy's good. And he knows to bring up Panzer IVs and his infantry and the command unit to force me out. So, yeah, I made a huge mistake. Because I thought the defenses here were a lot less than what they actually are. And I end up calling two of the battleship guys to bring those guns in to play in this area here. Which I think it does a lot of damage. But because I lost so much infantry here, I just don't have the ability to push it anymore. And I could have used these guns in the rear. They would have been far better off there. And I could have done a lot more damage. But I figured this wasn't all that strongly held, so I could just blast through and advance. But I was wrong. In fact, here I sent more infantry in. Just endorsing failure as I get shot up by a Panther D. You know, that little artillery barrage did do a lot of damage. But as that's happening, I'm not paying attention to this, and they are able to reopen their spawn and call in reinforcements. It still costs them a lot, because like all these guys are now pinned down, and they lost a few units in the process. But it just didn't work the way I was hoping it would, and it goes badly. Well, if you guys had fired at that thing and hit... Nope, no building left. And now they're bringing their 88s. So, the downside of splitting your efforts like that. Because I could have had all that infantry over here. All this infantry, which is already dying, by the way. Because there's a lot more here than I was expecting. And this isn't remotely near enough. Because I figured my artillery barrage had just hit. It'll just be a simple action of moving up against light forces or what's left of them and taking the town. No. No, 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 no. I was wrong. So they can reinforce from there now, and my guys are just getting overwhelmed. Hooray, that was a huge mistake. I could have really used all that infantry here to just push this way. Because it wasn't particularly well held in the rear. You know, I did manage to allow my ally to take this part of the town and basically secure the town to a very large degree. And that town's being held. But yeah. And here come the Willies. I like that. Willie's OP for overpowered. There's Achilles there. I'm calling in more artillery strikes. But it's just going to be too little, too late. And wrong area to deploy them. They should have been over here. I do eventually bring a Willys over here. But yeah, these two land deployments are useless. They can't use them. Because they're blocked off. I know they're advancing stuff through these woods. So I call my own artillery strike down on it. I could have done a lot more damage if I hadn't split my forces up like that. And then gotten all my infantry killed. Oh look, here come the artillery. Missing completely. Setting the Pack 75 on fire. Sending in what's left of my stuff. And I sent 2 more tanks. Make myself sad. That died from this guy. Oh, they only had 2 rounds of those things. Huh, that's convenient to know. End up causing a lot of damage to this stuff. Boom, right in the middle of the road. Oh! And it just disappears. Okay. There's no plane. There was no plane. There never was a plane. Ignore that crater. It's not anything important. That guy's holding that. But yeah, because this area was weakly held with nothing at all, the enemy, it was, even without a concerted push, was able to advance way into the rear. And they still can here, because there's nothing really holding it. Even though they're still pushing, they're still trying to push through the lines elsewhere, and not really achieving all that much. And I've got more artillery coming in, because I know they're there. Boom! I don't have anything to move forward, because I've been putting all my stuff over here. I made Scott. Good job, Scott. It's not... well, you're not doing all that much. That's a hell of a range on that little gun, though. Oh, bunkers. I could have taken the bunker position if I had brought my infantry over here. But no, I was an idiot. And I didn't bring them. That's a certain reverse. Why are the Germans coming from the sea? And why are why is the 6th Airborne holding the bunker line? I could have had fun with that little bunker line. But oh well. Is that another bunker? No, it's just another shack. Oh well. But my artillery has at least got them to redirect the attack from this way, which they could have attacked through here while I was distracted and liberated all these, and then moved all the way back to the rear end because I wouldn't have been able to do anything. Particularly now as I'm out of infantry after throwing everything over here. We do kind of advance. And we do cause some significant damage. But considering what it cost me, well, it really wasn't worth it. It really wasn't worth it what I did. I should have just put everything over here, and we could have rolled up the entire flank. That would have been far more effective. But oh well. Mistakes were made. You live and learn. Watch the replays. Live and learn. What are you gonna do? Boom! Nice. And this entire sideshow did not go particularly well for me. That's the last artillery barrage I can call in using these guys, and they've got reinforcements coming. And I just don't have any more reinforcements, because I got all my stuff killed. Reinforcements are spotted, and a lot of them get blown up pretty badly. But I have a desperate fight trying to hold the town, so they can't have their spawn back. Like, they launched... Did they launch a Nebelwerfer? Or Panzerwerfer? They Werfered me, and it completely missed the infantry. That weapon's completely inaccurate. It's always entertaining. So yeah, and this guy never counters this. So there's this huge pocket here that could have been easily retaken. Just like I thought this was a pocket that could easily be retaken, and I was wrong. I should know, if there's a pocket that involves a town, it's probably not going to be so easy to retake. At all. But I actually get more infantry into the town than this guy did. Bibow. And I'm using lightnings to try to take care of the infantry. But, unknown to me, he's got this giant chunk of infantry up there. So he's got plenty of reinforcements. SK-18s. Oh, I could have taken these out too. Forced them to fight in the swamp. That would have been entertaining. But no, I messed up. Now I don't even push my anti-tank guns up because I'm worried about the infantry that's in here. Infantry that, again, I know exists up there. So because I'm busy elsewhere, I basically fail night, and... Seriously, can I not see anybody's bloody name? So I fail night, and... Christ. Kanzar. And I didn't achieve anything by failing them, because I never actually managed to take the town with this other guy. We never managed to break through the town. He goes around it eventually. And there's a big push here as people push back up through the middle here. But do we ever take the town? No. I lose all my infantry I'd left in the attempt, and we never actually managed to do so. And it basically cost me this area too. It's a lot of anti-aircraft. Oof. I start bringing up Cromwells and focusing back over here, where I should have been the entire time. Because this guy is now doing a good job. I'm not pronouncing that name. I'm going to call him Knee. He is now Knee. But our allies do a good counter push over here, even though I'm pretty sure it's a bit too late by now. I try to bring up a 17-pounder, and it doesn't really work out because he gets shot out. So now here the fight begins there, as they try to work their way through. My mortars still way the frick back here in no position to support, and same thing with this Vickers. But I've got Staghound AA coming up. And then they drop bombs, which is something I should have been doing, but my bomber wasn't available. Ah, good job with the Challenger. Boom. Good lesson here is don't get distracted from where you're doing well to try to plug a hole in the line. Because that did not do me well here, as we never take the town. Okay, so I just got a relatively important email, but I'm not in a position to pause this. And one thing was a little bit redundant, because it's already been rescheduled. Because it turned out the property owner whose property I had to inspect has a doctor's appointment on that given day. And so she wasn't available to do the insurance audit. Had to be rescheduled anyway. So yeah. I made a series of mistakes there. Got 5 more minutes. This is the extent of the advance into the town. And they still have their Panzer L6 thing there, the Italian tank. And this guy manages to advance pretty far in because there wasn't much here. Just like I thought there wasn't much here. There really wasn't much here. So I attacked the wrong area. Yes, when you zoom out far enough, the sound stops. I know this. Look at the line of surrendered units. Fuel explosion. So yeah, these things are not really as tough as everyone thinks they are, as the Tigers are pretty much dying left and right. They're a bit of a pain. Yeah, look, there we go. A Sherman 5 with a 75mm gun has just killed a Tiger here. I don't see a King's Tiger up. Or Koenig's Tiger. Like another one's dead over here. That thing died. That stood. Assault gun thing. They're up against that there. If this guy had moved over there, it could have been helpful, but I'm not going to complain because he's probably busy elsewhere as well. Like I was busy elsewhere here, and I've lost the town. But that wasn't a reinforcement point. They still had to advance through quite a bit to get to the reinforcement point. Ah, there's the Koenig's Tiger. I've got my Cromwell here. I'm shooting down the streets with tanks, which is about the best thing I can do at the moment to hold this area. It's like, why aren't you firing your main gun? Yeah, it's a support tank with the quick-firing 95. Why are you not firing it? Panther G's falling back. Panther G. No, the Koenig's Tiger's dead somehow. So yeah, we've got it. We were at 54% of the map, but that's not enough to win because they just have too much of a lead. Get a huge chunk if someone went into there. There's stuff built up to do so, but no one really did. Panther G, Panther G. They're just throwing Panther Gs in piecemeal. Some more artillery being called on from Kamzar. Boom. That thing's gonna get out of range. That sucks. Watch these guys get hit. And they managed to take that part of the town from me, so it secures their reinforcement point. Because I was too busy over here. Note to self, next time in a position like that, don't be stupid. And the bailed out thing is really annoying. Boom. Falling back. Ooh, the rhino's up front. Ooh, rhino, rhino. Does the rhino kill it? Does the rhino get to kill it? Oh, they almost got this pocket closed. Oh, this spot right there. Could have enclosed that entire thing into the rear lines. That might have given us enough points, but That was just me watching, going, well, I fucked this up. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes, typhoons. Oh, look. That's another... That's a dead king tiger, too. Nice. Yeah, those things are not... If you hit them hard, they're not nearly as beefy as everybody thinks they are. Because none of the king tigers have been able to really have that much of a telling effect. Okay, so one of the victors just quit. And now he gets a defeat. He might have had a performance problem. It's like it keeps closing in, and then... Nope, because that thing just died. Oh, that sucks. Like, there's only one road into this. I think this system is really brilliant. And there we go, that's the end. All things considered, I still... Even losing everything in that one town in that failed attack, I still came out ahead. And it's only a minor defeat. Yeah, this is a completely different thing. I don't even have that again. So, hooray. My kills and losses are showing up as someone else. SK-18s. Freaking... Wow. Those SK-18s. I need to get more of them in my German decks. Oh well. Hope you enjoy. See you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.